Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Idiots in the Wild. First story is anonymous. I have to tolerate an entitled family member, who I try to avoid contact with, but I recently had to be around them. They had already irritated me, monopolizing my time by running an out-of-the-way errand at the last minute, instead of letting me know so I could make a plan. And due to the extra time, I told this family member 1 and another, family member 2 with us, that we could no longer go out to eat because I had about a 3-hour drive to get back home and wanted to be on the road by a certain time. When I got back in the car after finishing the task, they let me know that I was to take each of them to their own chosen drive-thru. And we were waiting in line at the first one. Family member 2 told family member 1 that there's no eating allowed in my car. She said that was a good rule. And then she chided family member 2 about how she used to have a messy car due to fast food trash. She then commented that it's good to not even allow any beverage but water in the car. I share this convo to elaborate that it's very clear she understood no eating in my car, because she even conversed about it. I was then pretty irate that this entitled woman proceeded to eat in my car. As an FYI, it's my brand new car, less than 1 month old, but I don't allow it anyway. How do you have the nerve to just act like the rule doesn't apply to you, especially when you literally just had a conversation about it, and in someone's brand new car? Rules for thee, but not for me. Oh, and the cherry on top was that both drive-thrus took about 20 minutes each, and of course, one of them left off a main part of the order, so we could have just gone out to eat. Going through a drive-thru certainly wasn't the time saver I needed it to be. Family member 1 even wanted to know if I was going to complain about the order, and I just ignored her. There was no way I was going to backtrack to go back for it, especially when her adult child was there and could take care of it. Edited to add, they are both elderly, and I had not seen family member 1 in a while. I wonder what your definition of elderly is, though. Don't tell me it's 40. Don't tell me it's 40. And she was pretty frail since the last time I had seen her, so that's one of the main reasons I just dealt with it. She was using a walker, and honestly, she practically needed a wheelchair. I was also pretty irritated, and my blood pressure was up over the way the day had unfolded, so I decided just to bite my tongue and get her out of my car ASAP, so I could get on the road. Edit 2. Please know that I'm much closer to family member 2, and I definitely incorporate most of all these suggestions, and that's why she told family member 2 that eating is not allowed in my car. As soon as I had the chance, I reminded family member 2 that this doesn't change things for them. Alright, story number 2. Drugging neighbor family trying to make us move. This is the UK by Tan101. So, my immediate neighbor, semi-detached housing, has been harassing me since their tenancy, social housing. So, almost over 2 decades. Cut to now, where for over a year they made a habit of yelling move or yelling my young relative's name out loud, who we babysit every week from their back garden. They are still doing this today, despite reporting them to Peabody Housing, Met Engage, and my local MP. It's intimidating and ruins any sort of privacy and boundary I have with them. They recently smashed another neighbor's car. Charming. Where that particular family member of theirs is doing time in jail now for it. Ah, sweet. They also had a physical altercation with another neighbor. I posted about this online on the neighborhood app. This neighbor, having probably seen the post, comes outside and walks past our front door camera and makes a threat to me. Oh, I've seen that Ring doorbell cameras are really cheap right now. I wonder if I could scrape together enough money to get one. I really want one. That's not relevant, it's just I was looking on Amazon. They've got their sale coming up. Where was I? Yes, while making a derogatory comment about my gender. This was the only thing police could pursue from my direct reporting, But I declined as I'm not the homeowner of the house and do not wish to bring retaliation to them despite the harassment being present. I have posted the CCTV of this via X or Twitter to the local MP, which got a tiny bit of traction, but really nothing. I've had it confirmed they sell cocaine from their front door, an entrepreneur, and use weed, the smell. They are involved in prostitution, and there are issues with child endangerment and animal abuse. Well, it was a party until those last two. All have been reported either anonymously or directly. Nothing. Matt and Gage even told me there's nothing they can do with the yelling. Peabody Housing are not even responding to me anymore, or at least in a timely sense. They are all drug users, they can't control themselves. If I happen to have my window open and I'm talking, they will immediately start yelling "move." Half the time it's them being performative while calling for their dogs, and sometimes they can't be bothered with the act and just yell "move." To the point of screaming it when, on a rare occasion, I was standing outside in the back garden because I had to water the plants. When they first moved in, they made it an active drug house, like long queues of teenagers at their door that extend around the corner to the road. Now it's the odd crackhead that shuffles to their front door and leaves within minutes. Personally, I do feel there is element of the older neighborhood here being fixated on me. Generally, it's their whole family involved in this. They have other people frequenting their house, either yelling "move" or yelling my relative's name in a faked foreign accent. To note, we are of Palestinian descent, ethnic minority. I have mental health issues made worse by them to the point adult social services contacted me. They are white Caucasian. I think we could have worked that one out. I do believe there is an element of racism. Oh, I think more than an element, love. All you can really do is just keep reporting, document everything, record everything, make notes of the times of the incidents, what's been done, what's been said. Maybe stick a sprinkler in the back garden if you can, just to avoid going out and when you're watering the plants, but you shouldn't have to do that, because I'd imagine you enjoy watering the plants. People with gardens usually do. But just keep on at them. And if you happen to notice another drug queue, definitely call the cops on that, because there's really no excuse on the police's part not to act on a tip-off like that. Alright, story number 3, entitled House Guests from Hell. This is by Alert Breakfast 3184. My family and I have been subject to 3 days of horrifying torment from the worst house guests ever created. And while our suffering is extreme, I hope all of you at least get a good laugh out of it. Let's start off with some background. My family used to live in a state on the West Coast. While living there, we had a neighbor, Carol. Carol was our backyard neighbor, so her deck looked directly into our lawn. And oh boy, did she make the most of that view. You would think she was in a villa on the beach as she sat on her balcony, sun hat and sunglasses on, to watch our grass. And then, every Sunday at church, Carol made some sort of comment to my mother regarding our backyard affairs. "Saw you in your hot tub last night. Looks fun. Your kids really like playing on the swing set, huh? Lots of people were in your yard last week. Were you having a party?" These are some examples of Carol's remarks. My mother, being a normal, private person, was not a fan of Carol. To combat the constant snooping, my mother researched the fastest-growing, largest coverage trees she could get in our state and planted 8 of them along the fence line to block Carol's view. Unfortunately, as soon as the trees were tall enough to actually block her prying eye, we ended up moving to the East Coast, thankfully to a much more private house. It has been 8 years since we moved, and our dear friend Carol has made her grand reappearance to everyone's dismay. Oh, I feel bad for you. About 9 months ago, my mom got a phone call from Carol's husband, informing us that their family would be taking a road trip to the East Coast this summer and wants to stay at our house on the way. No. We live just outside a very touristy city, so this sort of request isn't uncommon. a benefit of the doubt and generally a people-pleasing person, decides to put her former feelings aside and agrees to host them, does your mother not realize that she's people too? Ignoring the fact that we have been absolutely zero contact with them for the past 8 years until now, she tells Carol's husband just to send her the dates and they'll be here so we can plan. Simple, right? Wrong, because for the next 9 months it's radio silence from Carol and her husband. No dates were sent, no plans were arranged, and not even the simple pleasantries were exchanged. My mom assumed they found other arrangements and just didn't bother to tell us. Oh well, no biggie. But we were still wrong. Carol generously gave my mother a call 3 days ago to tell us her family is 2 states away and will be at our house in about 38 hours, and they can't wait to see it. Suddenly, my mom is frantic to prepare the guest room and find a place for their kids to sleep. That's right, they called 9 months ago and never said another peep until they were practically on the doorstep. Well, it tells you exactly what they think about you right there. You're a convenience, not friends. Treating it almost like an Airbnb, except we didn't even get the dates. Also, did I mention they have 4 kids? My sister and I are appalled and tell my mom to call her back and strongly encourage them to get an Airbnb or a hotel instead because we aren't ready to host them. Or just tell them, you didn't confirm the dates with us like we requested, so we assumed you made other plans and are no longer able to host you because we don't want to. We also note how inconsiderate it was for them to give such short notice. But my mom already agreed and she didn't want to be rude in kicking them out. They're not even in. I pray she takes the path to recover from her people-pleasing ways after all this is done. They told us they would be arriving sometime between 5 and 6 p.m. on Tuesday. So we threw ourselves into full swing cleaning the house from top to bottom, preparing the guest room for the parents, and haphazardly throwing pillows and blankets into the living room for the kids. To top off the chaos, the guest bathroom toilet broke and my brother had to rush to the hardware store to get a new part. Thankfully, our new guests were an hour late, Natch, so we had time to repair the toilet. Yay. At last, the family bursts into the entry room with kids talking loudly and lots of suitcases. My mom does her best to give them a kind welcome, noting how long it's been, and they look well, etc., etc., while also giving them an, in my opinion, very gentle scolding for their lack of notice. Carol and her husband brush her off and start looking around and asking about the house. Stage 1 of the siege. I have a cat who does not like strangers. I see my poor fur baby standing in the kitchen panicking as this family floods the premises. So I pick her up to protect her. The kids, aged 17 female, 15 female, 12 male, and 9 female, who henceforth will be referred to by their ages, swarm me and my poor cat. I can feel her claws digging into my shirt as they all reach to pet her, without asking, I see, old enough to know better. So I take a step back and ask them not to touch her because she is stressed out, and she does bite. 9 and 15. I'm going to assume that the numbers are because they're like the Borg. 9 and because they've assimilated your house. 15 come closer anyway and reach towards her. In a very predicted turn of events, the 9-year-old gets a firm chomp to the finger. Good kitty. I step back again and remind her my cat is stressed and probably doesn't want to be petted right now. The kid shrugs it off, saying she loves cats and she doesn't mind getting bitten. I don't expect a 9-year-old to know better. I do, but I'm an unreasonable bastard who also knows that 9 years old is you're old enough to know right from wrong. But just because you don't mind doesn't mean the cat doesn't. Next comes the mother, Carol. Carol's eyes go wide as she sees my cat and reaches to pet her. I give Carol the same warning, but she ignores me. Once again, my cat starts snapping. This time at Carol, who keeps pulling back and then reaching forward again. Not the brightest, is she? 9 starts yelling at my cat, saying, "Bad cat." Because everyone knows screaming at cats is the most effective way to stop them from biting the fingers you're putting in their face. I take this as my cue to take my cat in the other room and put her on top of her cat tower, which thankfully is out of reach of all family members of the guest family, except Carol's husband, who didn't care for the cat, because height did not come with their genetic abundance of audacity. Stage 2. The whole family is settled, and I'm helping my mom finish up dinner when Carol and her husband enter to sit at the bar. No offer is made to help. We didn't expect one, but it feels worth noting. Carol tells us about their trip thus far, going from one cousin's house to the next for lodging. She also tells us their 17-year-old daughter wants to be a pilot, which is a crazy coincidence because my brother-in-law is a pilot. My mom tells her this, and offers to arrange for them to chat if she has any questions. 17 shrugs and says, word for word, "I already know the basics, so there's no need." My mom and I are kind of stunned because a full-fledged pilot obviously knows more than the basics, but sure, saves brother-in-law the headache. Next, 15 tells us she wants to be an anesthesiologist. Funny enough, I shadowed an anesthesiologist last fall because I have an interest in medical school, but we didn't bring that one up. When the food is ready, 17 and 15 jump ahead with plates in hand to heap on food. I'm the last person to judge other people's eating habits, but you genuinely could not see an inch of their plates, and I was honestly worried there wouldn't be enough food for everyone. I mean, judge their habits when they're guests in your home and eating more than their share. My brother and I wait at the dining table until 12 and 9 get their own plates before making a move. The conversation at dinner consists of Carol bragging about her kids' accomplishments and aspirations and asking minimal questions about anything else. When they're finished, the whole family flurries away to get ready for bed, leaving behind their dirty dishes and leftover food for my family, who apparently look like ladies-in-waiting, to clean up. Unsurprisingly, 17 and 15 only finished half their plates. Stage 3. Last night they had gone out to dinner, so it was blissfully quiet in the house. My sister and I went out for a girls' night to get froyo, and when we came back I made myself a bowl of microwave popcorn. We're sitting at the kitchen table chatting when they return. The kids are chasing the dogs, which I now realize I forgot to mention, so please take a moment to envision throughout all aforementioned events. We have 4 dogs in the house. My family only has 1 dog, a very senior golden doodle. But we are currently pet-sitting my other sister's, who is on vacation with her husband, border collie and blue heeler, and a neighbor's mini poodle. Suddenly, 9 pops up next to me and grabs a huge handful of my popcorn. I think you're allowed to smack a bitch at that point. Which I would have preferred she asked, but whatever, she's a kid. No, old enough to know better. But then her dad comes over and grabs his own handful. Definitely old enough to know better. Smack 2 bitches. Suddenly Carol herself comes and, don't you fucking dare, takes a seat, grabs the bowl from me, and passes it to her other kids. Call the cops. I just witnessed a crime. The girl was too stunned to speak. None of these people asked to have some of my popcorn. What the hell, actually? I decided it wasn't worth it and went up to my room to escape the confrontation. I suppose that's one way to avoid a murder charge. Good for you. Stage 4. When Carol called 3 days ago to inform us of her arrival, she said they would be staying from Tuesday night to Thursday morning. This lovely Thursday morning, my mother noticed their stuff was not packed, nor did they appear to be packing, so she asked them around what time they were planning on leaving. It was at this moment Carol's husband took the opportunity to inform us they would actually be staying until Friday. How unfortunate, you said Thursday, we have other plans, get the fuck out. Carol then chimes in to say they need our washing machine to be available tonight so they can do laundry. And they will not be going out to dinner and would like to eat at our house. Translating to, can you make us dinner? I mean, at the very least, they could have made dinner for everyone else as a thank you. My mom is fuming at this point, and bloody well should be, and blowing up my sister's phone with grievances about these crazy people, and I just have to laugh at it all. My sister and I are both encouraging our mom to tell them they have to get a hotel for tonight, because they only said Tuesday to Thursday. Or sending them a Venmo request for all the food they've eaten with a small surcharge for their accommodations. But sadly we know she won't do it, and can only dream about it. My mom has a lot of good friends from our old neighborhood, and is afraid Carol will spread bad rumors about her if we confront her. But I think her friends know Carol well enough that they should understand. Anyway, here's some ending anecdotes to highlight some of the more enjoyable conversation topics my family and I have endured. Carol's husband mansplained what the Louvre is to my mom because she's never been to Paris, so how would she know? Carol informed me about Australian culture and how Australians think, because I mentioned I just got back from a trip down under. I didn't do the accent. I'm proud of me. To visit one of my best friends. Important to note, neither she nor Carol's husband are Australian in any capacity. Told my mom, who is currently working on her PhD in psychology. Oh, so she knows these people are crazy, like definitely clinical, okay. That high-functioning autism isn't real. Explained in detail to my sister and I how cool the museums in our city are, and how important it is for us to see them. I mean, it's an American household. I assume you have air conditioning at home. We know, we've been many times. And finally, Carol corrected me on the pronunciation of one of my friend's names. It's not a complicated name, like Sophia. It's genuinely 4 letters. I was gagged. Honestly, my whole family is so done, and I sense a group share circle with ice cream in the near future to recover as soon as they all leave. And I... bring popcorn. And I hope my mom takes this as a lesson to stop allowing loose acquaintances to stay with us and limit the space to only real friends. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this shit show. Update. Hello, dear listeners. First of all, thank you so much to all of you who offered love and support for myself and my family. What a wild past couple of days. I tried my best to read all the comments, but I may have missed a few, and I'm sorry for that. I want to address the hate pointed at my mom. Oh, no, that's a little rude. I understand the criticism, and this is 1000% all avoidable, and she very much brought this on herself. Well, I personally, speaking just for myself, I don't think she brought it on herself so much as, honestly, people-pleasing starts very early. Some people are just natural people-pleasers, but it starts very early on. And when certain creatures like Carol realize someone is a people-pleaser, they'll take advantage of it, and that's what happened here to your mother. I mean, she's lucky she's got all you around her who are a little more practical to advise her, and I hope one day it does stick. But honestly, it's going to require a concentrated effort and will on your mom's part to change it. It's not just going to happen. I would also like to point out that she comes from a different generation with a very close-knit family. So while this may sound insane to many of you, it's just how she is. Whether that's right or wrong isn't for anyone to decide but her. She's an adult and can change if she wants to. But she will always do what she thinks is right, and I have to at least admire her for that, although I may add, doing what she thinks is right, it's important that she does what's right for her family first, and having these people there was a massive inconvenience to all of you, popcorn theft aside. So maybe, while you can still be kind, she needs to center her own world in the people closest to her first. Now, on to why you're all here. I wish I could tell you I have a wonderfully petty update for you. However, the past 7 hours since I woke up have offered the perhaps most unbelievable turn of events. So let's start from where we left off. Last night my mom made a very simple and easy dinner for our family. The family we were hosting, as previously mentioned, was also expected to be there. But to the shock of At this point, they didn't show up. No call or text. Fortunately, their absence from the dinner table gave my sister and I the perfect opportunity for our intervention. Our mother began complaining about the family's antics, and my sister tried to explain how unacceptable it is for them to treat her like this. I added that we should not have let them stay the extra night, but what's done is done, and we can only go forward and never repeat this mistake. I told my mom she needs to set clearer boundaries, and that it's unfair to her for these people to blatantly use us as a free stay and trample all over her. She got really defensive and argued she's just being kind and sorry I'm a sucker. Oh, no, that's self-destructive talk. My sister and I tried to explain that she can be kind to others, while also being kind to herself. She was not happy with us, and said there was nothing she could do about it now. See, I think your mother's probably not. I'm speculation on my part. I'm not I'm a psychiatrist. I think she'd love nothing more than to tell these people just to fuck off. But she's just been acting this way for so long now, it's going to be very difficult for her to change. Maybe if you center yourselves and the inconvenience it is to your family, the fact that letting people like this stay in your house is hurting the family, instead of trying to be like, well, you deserve better, because she does definitely deserve better. She sounds like a lovely woman, your mother. She certainly deserves better. Maybe get her to think of how it's affecting the family first, as opposed to just being kind to strangers. You could be kind by recommending hotels. My dad also chimed in and told us we had to take the high road when my sister and I suggested we confront them so my parents don't have to. So yeah, not much success there. The guest family came back around 9 p.m. and kept quiet all night. Result? Then they packed up and left before 10 a.m. this morning, thank God. No drama as they were leaving either, thankfully. After they left, my mom was in the living room straightening pillows when my sister walked in. My mom said, "They're finally gone," in an excited tone. And dear listener, this next moment shocked me to my very core. I wish I was kidding, but in the very same breath, she informs us she has invited our extended family to stay with us for Thanksgiving. Jojo, have you learned nothing? This group of new guests will include my grandparents, 2, my aunt and spouse plus kids, 5, my uncle, spouse and kid, 3, my brother and fiancé, 2. At the house, which already resides myself, my parents, my sister, her husband, and my 2 other brothers, bringing us to a grand total of 19 potential people in a 5-bedroom house. Lord have mercy. My mom is beyond helping. My sister has a long debate with her on how bad of an idea that is. She suggested hotels, Airbnbs. We have another uncle who lives 30 minutes away they could also stay with. My mom had none of it. They're her family. Well, at least they are actually family. I suppose that's something. So they have to stay here, she says. I think I'm going to move in with my best friend that week to escape it all. My sister is already looking at hotels. And as for my brother and his fiancée, they're looking at going to his fiancée's family instead. It's a free-for-all for everyone else. I almost feel like we're preparing for the Hunger Games. 5 months till the reaping, everyone. Good luck. I wish I had more to say, but I'm still speechless, just appalled at it all, and I cannot wait to move out in a year. Well, hopefully because this next batch actually are family, they at least pitch in and treat the house with a bit more respect, because those last lot were... No, I don't like them. Alright, story number 4. Entitled Customer Demanded an Outfit Be Taken Off a Mannequin During Inventory by Mermaid Millie, H2O. One of my best friends works in retail, and the store she works at is currently doing inventory, so everyone is super busy. I was there shopping with my grandmother, and as my grandmother was trying on stuff in the fitting room, I was chatting with my friend. That's when a middle-aged woman comes up and the drama begins. She was very rude right from the get-go. It probably won't translate well into text. It was mostly in her tone. Are you on a break? No, said my best friend. Good, because I need an outfit taken off a mannequin. I don't think we can do that for you right now. We're doing inventory, but which one do you need taken down? I'll go ask my manager about it.
Those strawberry pajamas up there. There aren't any on the racks, and I need the one off the mannequin.
And let me just add that this mannequin is really high up. It is close to the ceiling. It's one of those mannequins that's on the wall, not standing by itself on the floor. If this had been any other day, getting those pajamas down wouldn't have been that big of an issue. But it's inventory season, and no one really wants to go out of their way to help her because she's being so rude. At this point, all I'm missing is a bucket of popcorn, so when my friend goes off to ask her manager, I go with her. At first, without fully understanding the situation, the manager said it would be no problem. Bad manager, bad. She'll just put a new outfit on the mannequin. But once she heard that this customer was being rude and that this mannequin wasn't easily accessible, she told my friend to just tell the lady that they can't do that. So we head back to her and tell her exactly what the manager said, minus the part where she said it wouldn't be a problem because she didn't fully understand the situation yet. She did not like that answer. She had decided to get other associates involved that were all telling her the exact same thing.
I worked in retail for 14 years. At this store, actually. So I know that this is absolutely something you can do.
My BFF's co-worker says, normally it would be, but we're doing inventory right now, so we can't take anything off the mannequins.
I need it for her. She's going out of town tomorrow, and she needs it for that.
Damn, I wonder what's happening that she just simply would be physically unable to leave town without them strawberry pajamas. It was only then that I noticed that the teenage girl who has been silent the entire time was actually with this woman, and not just standing nearby to watch the drama unfold like I originally thought. Would you like me to bring the manager here so you can talk to her directly?
Yes, I would.
It was at that point that I had to leave, but my friend filled me in on how it ended. Unfortunately, it is not a satisfying ending for the rest of us. The rude woman managed to convince someone to take the pajamas off the mannequin for her. I'm going to assume they strangled her with them. Story number 5. Chronicling My Time as a Server. Do You Relate? By Purple Cat Universe. Also, it's just cathartic to vent about it. I haven't worked in food service for a couple years now, but this is a business that alters you as a person, a bit like retail. I worked as a host at a chain steakhouse first. Absolutely hated it. I was a little older than most of the hostesses, and the first thing I noticed was that the servers were in the habit of bullying them. They'd bitched that they were sitting them too much. Then we were sitting them too little. Some would think they were serving gods and demanded to be seated with particular parties all at once, and then complain they were stressed later. Or they would come up to the stand begging us not to sit them because they were tired or wanted to go outside and smoke. They would try to sneak up and turn off their sections or seat themselves while we were bussing tables. I did not want to put up with that shit, so some servers hated me. But it was really because I wasn't a 16-year-old girl they could manipulate. With me, they sat by the book if possible, and that's that. They were not going to intimidate me. One server kept begging me to seat her with parties the whole night. Well, a party came in, and I sat them with her, because there was nowhere else to put them, and she could handle a lot of tables. So bet she came up to me in a rage because they were of a certain persuasion. I don't want to violate sub-rules. We were sworn enemies after that, and many servers requested not to be sat with certain persuasion tables. I would make stuff up like, oh, they came in before, they hate me. I am of that persuasion, by the way, but I live in Alabama, so it's typical. Another time, the other host didn't show on a Friday night. We were packed and I hosted and bussed all the tables by myself. This server came up to me because I wasn't bussing her tables fast enough. She went on a rant about how she paid me to bus her tables. Tip out. I was so pissed off, we got into a brief argument right in the middle of the dining room. I was like, bus your own fucking tables then. I was so stressed and had opened that day too. Crazy looking back on it because I am a passive person. And another time a small group of people came in 1 minute before close at 10:59, I think 4 people. I wanted to tell them the kitchen was closed, and the manager said we had to sit them. All tables were either actively being cleaned or dirty, so I asked them if they minded sitting at the bar. They said no problem. At some point, they told the bartender that I told them to sit at the bar. So yeah, I got cussed out by the bartenders. They went to the manager, who then came to me. I explained that in my mind it was a choice between rushing and cleaning a booth as they waited, or directing them to the bar. I thought the bar would get them in and out the quickest. Had no idea I was violating a major faux pas, and would be on all the bartenders' hit list for weeks. It was a huge drama that plummeted my mental health. Then, thank God, I was host trainer for a little while, and then moved up to server. My first day serving I was supposed to be hosting. I was still in training, but it was my Mother's Day, and the GM put me on the floor. It was chaotic. I accidentally charged one table for another table's order. The guest that was incorrectly charged stood up, got in my face, and started yelling, because as we all know, that fixes all problems. His wife told him to back down. I was shaking and furious. Naturally, he did not want to give me his card for the refund. All right, pay the other bill then, you dipshit, and thought it was very stupid that I would need it. Of course, I had to wait on the GM because the other managers were very occupied on the line, and he was just in his office. GM told me to just get the card from the man, and was very annoyed when I explained the man would not give it to me. Took him like 15 minutes to come out of his office. I mean, really, making that poor GM do some work? Shame on you. Unbelievable. On my second day ever serving, the GM gave me an 8-top, and a bit later he double-sat me. I went up to the 2 new tables and told them I'd be right with them. I was trying to close out the 8-top that could not decide who was paying for who. One of the men that was just sat became absolutely irate. Maybe he wanted to help him find the door without opening it. I went to the GM and asked him if he could de-escalate, and he refused. Spineless limp-dick motherfucker. So I tried to make it up to the man. By showing him the door without opening it, I hope. He was yelling and cussing at me. The whole restaurant was looking. Then the GM finally came over, and only after the man insulted him, he kicked him out. It was so bad that the other servers hugged me and consoled me, even the ones I did not get along with. Afterwards, the GM retaliated by giving me a bad section. When confronted about it, he said it was because both these situations indicated I couldn't handle my tables, so he openly admitted it was retaliation. Not the load, necessarily, though I was new. He said I needed to have handled both situations better. I didn't understand why I was confined to a corner away from everyone else, instead of at the normal new server section. Well, he kept me in the punishment section for months instead. People would be sat in my section and then asked to move somewhere else, though a couple of the managers felt bad and would move me to better sections when the GM wasn't there. Later, another server stole a couple of hundred from me. I was upset they wouldn't fire her, and I walked out. I get it was my fault for it was their fault for taking the money. I'm not even reading the rest of that sentence. She should be fired, as you say, absolutely. I gained experience for the next couple of years serving at a few places, including Big Whiskies. A cook there came up to me and told me to watch out for the kitchen manager. I'm dropping the restaurant name because that kitchen manager touched my ass and tried to play it off like he was fixing my apron string. That's not how asses or apron strings work. I complained. They didn't care. He also bothered other female servers, and at one point yelled at a server of a certain persuasion that she needed to go back to the projects. All the cooks left the kitchen together in solidarity and went to the GM, and they were uncomfortable and didn't feel welcomed. The GM was like, "Oh, that's how he is. He didn't mean it." They always mean it. So nothing happened, so at some point I walked out. I hope my children never have to work in the service industry. It was legitimately horrible. I hope I don't get hate for this post, because I do understand I wasn't built for it. No, I think any experienced server knows how shitty it can be if you get into a place like one of the ones you were in. I mean, some of them can be amazing, but a lot of them... It was a terrible environment in which I could never have thrived. I always tell people that being a server is spending your time being yelled at by customers, then yelled at by the kitchen, and dealing with apathetic management. Sadly, in a lot of restaurants that is the case, but it's not how it should be, and it's not how it is in every place. I don't think it was a matter of you weren't cut out for it, it's just you ended up in it. You were basically set up for failure, because you just had such bad luck in working in places that were being badly run. I would be so stressed trying to work with fellow servers screaming at each other, or back and forth with the cooks or the managers. It was too much. I really just want to discuss this with people. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Big thanks to everyone who allowed me to use their stories. If you'd like to support the channel, you can sign up for my Patreon page, which is linked in the description. $1 or more, whatever you're comfortable supporting, gets you early access to all the videos at once on Monday. There's also a link to my merchandise store over on Teespring, as well as my Discord server, my Threads account, and my email, which is kingofthecities@gmail.com if you need to contact me. That's everything for now, so until next time, thank you very much for watching, and take very good care of yourselves.